Hello, duckies, and welcome back to the Unnamed series. My name's Viola, and we're going to be continuing on our adventure and our story of Rose. Now, hopefully by this point, yep, all our iron has been finished. Let's make ourselves a couple pieces of armor so that we just have a few things. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and break down that, and I will break down this furnace. And I believe I had just finished with how Rose got her name from the rose pattern on her side. So, to continue from there, at this point in time, Captain Zanuck and I, just as we currently are, go back and forth in visiting, so he'll come over to America for a little while, and then I'll go over to England for a little while. And we've been doing this back and forth for years now. So we are in this pattern with it. We know what we're doing. We know how to handle it. We're not too bothered by it. And one of the reasons why we ended up getting Rose was because when he tends to go back, when he goes back to England, I tend to get very distant and a little disconnected, and it's just because it's how I manage emotionally, and with Rose here, it kind of is something that we have together, so we're not too bothered about I'm not too bothered about that, you know, so that I have something that's a little bit of both of us. And we joke about her being our baby. Because, I mean, she's the first thing that we have together. She's the first living being that we have together. So after we named her, about a month goes by, and we have some surface coal, any surface iron, not that I can see here. Okay. So about a month goes by, everything's going well. She is a dream, really. She is litter trained, she's well behaved, she's sweet, she doesn't necessarily want to cuddle, but she loves to hop up on my bed, and when I go to sleep, she'd come up onto my bed and actually purposefully put her head into my hand and purr to comfort me to sleep. And apparently she had taken up the habit of, not another desert, of whenever I would take a nap or anything, if she wanted onto the bed, she'd be cuddling between Captain Zanuck and I. And it was a wonderful time. It really was. We started actually having some issues. At this point in time, my father and I were trying to move. Things were getting mixed around. Everything was kind of going everywhere. I'm going to make myself a shield because I just heard quite a lot of bad guys in there. And we realized after a little while that we had a hole in our roof. Now, the place that we used to live had quite a lot of forest around it. A lot of wild animals, snakes, foxes, the whole kit and caboodle. And that wasn't necessarily an issue until it decided to come into our house through the hole in the roof. We didn't realize this until we were prepping to move out, and we realized there was a hole, and by that point in time, we'd been having trouble with Rose for a couple of weeks. We'd had to go away, and I thought she was still just recovering from the fact that she had to stay at a friend's house and was upset about being moved back and forth, all that sort of stuff, because I know cats are a bit more finicky with that sort of thing. So I thought she was just kind of being a little rebel because we had left her behind for a trip. No, that was not at all why she was upset. Turns out that we had a possum living in a portion of our attic who had brought in fleas. We had no clue where they were coming from, no idea what to do. We took Rose out, got her flea bath and all that sort of stuff. We flea bombed the house, but we had no idea, at this point in time we were still trying to figure out where they were coming from. We had realized the problem was fleas, but we didn't know about the possum yet. So after a while she started getting lethargic, very tired, very sleepy all the time. Let me put my bed down and go to sleep. And oh, there's the bed. And it just was getting worse and worse and worse. And then we discovered the possum, and we were trying to catch it so that we could take it out. We didn't necessarily want to kill it. We just wanted to move it out into one of the reserves that's around the area. We have a lot of nature, and we had a lot of nature parks around where we were living at that time, and it would have been very easy to just rehome the possum to a local nature preserve park where it could live out its life as it was supposed to. But it was being resistant. It was not going into the cage. We were setting it up repeatedly and trying to get this dealt with. And all along, Rose was getting worse and worse, and I didn't notice it until it was almost too late. It got to the point one day where I woke up and after feeding Rose, my father came into me and was like, she doesn't look so good. So I went back in and I checked where she was and I checked how she was. She could barely lift her head. She didn't want to eat her food. She didn't want to have her water. And I immediately was like, no, it's time to go to the emergency vet right now. This is it. We have to do something about this right now. Oh, I actually should be taking these because I've got an idea. Oh, those are supposed to be orange ones. Okay. What about these? Pink. Take that. Red. Although we've got red dye. I really shouldn't be filling my inventory with these kinds of things, but I kind of need them for one of the things I'm planning on having. But yeah, we took her straight into an emergency vet. And they told us exactly what I had already assumed. She was anemic, which for those who don't know is low iron. It's iron deficiency. And very dehydrated, and then they told us something that we actually didn't know about. These ones are just making the same one. Come to find that Madame Roche has kidney problems. It was a bit of a shock. And it wasn't something I was necessarily expecting. But you know, sometimes it happens. I just hadn't been that prepared for it. It was a challenge. It was a new challenge with a new pet. And it's a risk that you take when you adopt. It just can happen. And while I wasn't sure how to go forward, I was like, okay, let me discuss this with Captain Zanuck and we'll figure this out. Captain Zanuck has had more of a history with cats than I have, so he had a better idea of how to deal with this than I did. It almost looks like there's a building up there. On the map? Just heard a skeleton somewhere. Oh, nope, it was you flopping around, wasn't it? There we go. Fish. Tasty fish. Okay. And while kidney disease is not a, oh my gosh, it's going to kill you now thing, it is a, oh my gosh, it's going to be a trial sort of thing. But okay, that's just the outline of this rock on here. Okay. But when I had first gotten her, I had decided straight off the bat, you know, no matter what, this is my cat. No matter what comes with her, she's part of my life now, and I'm just going to deal with it. And thus, life has gone on. She has adjusted fairly well. Unfortunately, we came to find this weekend that her disease has progressed. She is now in stage 2, which is still a little bit off and still manageable. But it means that most likely she will have to be on medicine to keep her appetite up. And that's just to do with the disease. Cats with kidney disease have trouble with stomach acid. They have trouble with keeping themselves hydrated. So I'm doing everything I can. But she's upset because I kicked her out of the room because she's making a lot of noise right now. She doesn't get that. She doesn't understand why I kicked her out. But it was kind of startling because it was a situation that I hadn't really expected. And I hadn't expected it to get this worse this fast, because it has been... It's been a little over a year, and I had thought she was doing well. So to have somebody come and tell me, well, she is doing okay, but not as well as she was, and for there to be a problem that came up, because basically it was a situation again where she started acting out. She was being noisy. She wanted attention because she didn't feel well, but she didn't want... Oh, hello, Lava. But she didn't want to be cuddled all the time. She wanted to move around. She was fidgety. But she was also tired. She didn't want to eat. She basically barely ate anything for like a week. It was disheartening and upsetting, and it is something that I worry about on a day-to-day basis, because she's my cat and I love her. She's the closest thing I have to a kid right now. She can't take care of herself, so I take care of her, and in return she takes care of me emotionally. I mean, I really don't think that I would be able to do the things that I do right now if it wasn't for the fact that I do have her there, along with, you know, my dad and Captain Zanuck and such, to help me out and say, hey, you're doing what you feel you need to do and what you feel you can do. Because that's a lot to do with depression and depressive people. We don't feel like we're capable of having this normal life that it seems like everybody else has a lot of the time. let's get a good look over here. Let's just look around from up here. See what we can see. A lot of forest. A lot of rivers. Head over this way and still get up into the mountains a bit more. So yeah, I spent the last week trying to keep track of her after doing my recordings last week. So her crying last week was actually part of what was going on with her. Right now it's just that she's upset. I shut her out of the room. But she's got access to her food and her water dish, so she's pretty good. Let's see. Well, we're up above the cloud level. I just wish we could come across a village. It just feels like forever since we've seen anything relatively village-ish. Ooh, I could use that as a water elevator down. But then how do I get back up? Who knows? Whee! Whoa! Alrighty. Let's go this way. So yeah, my last week has been, kind of emotionally draining as far as keeping track of little Madame Rose and making sure she's okay. Fish. But it was better to find out and figure out, you know, what was wrong rather than not have any clue at all that something was wrong. Which is one of the good things about having Rose as a pet. She definitely will let you know when something is off. Whoa. Creepy Minecraft noises! No! Village! Village! Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Hopefully they have something good. Hopefully it's not abandoned. Oh gosh. I just thought that. Nope. No, it's not abandoned. I see a golem. Oh. Sir? Sir? You seem to have fallen down a hole. Yeah, I don't suggest you stay down here. Oh boy. I'll light this area up. Because the last time I ran into anything like this... A kitty? I've got fish. Oh my gosh, guys. I have fish. And there's a cat in this village. Okay, guys. I think we're going to stop here for right now. And we'll pick up next time and try to get the kitty. Thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to keep up to date on all the videos. And remember to free the feral wildflower in you. And get her a rose.